President Trump's speech on Super Tuesday, he made some big claims about Houston.
You know what we're doing? We're refining the oil. We have our refinery for that oil. It's really, I call it tar. It's not oil. It's terrible. We have real stuff. But we're refining it in Houston. So for all of the environmentalists, you ought to look at that, because all of that tar is going right up into the atmosphere. You just ought to take a look. It's the only plant that can do it. We have the only plants that can take tar and make it into oil, and that's what it is. It's a shame.
All right, so our Verified team did some digging to find out if these claims are true. Here's Adam Bennett.
Our sources are UH professor and Vice President of Energy and Innovation Ramanan Krishnamurti, as well as the U.S. Energy Information Administration and the U.S. Treasury Department. In January of 2019, the Trump administration imposed sanctions on Venezuela's state-owned oil company. This is in response to the U.S. not recognizing Nicolas Maduro as a legitimate president of the country. According to data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, or EIA, those sanctions essentially dropped Venezuelan imports to the U.S. to zero by July of that year. Earlier in the Trump presidency, though, the U.S. was importing an average of 600,000 barrels per day from Venezuela. Fast forward to November of 2022, and under the Biden administration, the Treasury Department allowed for limited operation of a Chevron plant in Venezuela as part of a sanctions relief to aid the Venezuelan people. The EIA data shows imports from Venezuela starting in January of 2023 and averaging about 130,000 barrels per day.
Yes, we do import Venezuelan oil today at about one-fourth to one-third the amount we used to import in 2019.
So we can verify that former President Trump saying the U.S. is again importing oil from Venezuela is true. Now on to whether Houston has the only refineries capable of handling Venezuelan crude oil. UH professor Ramanan Krishnamurti says refineries along the Gulf Coast and around the country are equipped to handle heavy crude like that from Venezuela.
We are not the only refineries in the region. There are other refineries along the Gulf Coast, but also around the country. So some of the refineries in New Jersey are very well equipped to handle heavy crudes.
So the claim from former President Trump that Houston refineries are the only ones capable of handling Venezuelan crude is false. With your Verify, I'm Adam Bennett.
If you want us to find an answer to a question you have, send us an email to verify@khou.com.
All right, when it comes